more.
Here's Matthew Barnaby, former Buffalo Sabre, who joins us on Hockey Central on the Sportsnet Radio Network, simulcast on Sportsnet. We've got a short list here, and I'm just curious whether you're hearing the same names. Rick Dudley, Colin Campbell, and Doug McLean. That's our short list. What do you think of that? To be the general manager.
Throw Matthew Barnaby's name in there.
You want the job, Matthew?
No. I don't think I can work for anyone. I think I'm too stubborn to work for anyone and listen to anyone. But that would be a guy I could listen to. Give it to Dougie. Dougie could leave your motley crew, and I'll take his spot.
Tell me this, Matthew. What about a guy like Mike Pekka?
You know what? I think when you're looking at GMs, I think you need a guy that has experience. I think Pat hit on it in his press conference. It's a very tough job, and it's easy for us on the outside to judge, and you've been in that position before. There's a lot of intricacies that you need to have and knowledge of running a business and player contracts that you need. Michael Peck, I think, is doing a great job in coaching. I think he's developing as a coach with the junior Sabres, and I think we could look at him long-term maybe as a coach in the National Hockey League, at least in the American League, and keep grooming him. But I think they're going to look for a guy with experience, and to me, Rick Dudley is the one that makes the most sense out of everyone that I've heard.
Did you mention Colin Campbell, too?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Did Terry Pegula have zero choice in this? Was it so gone in that city? Because I think that the record was so bad and the team so bottomed out so early. I almost thought that he would keep Darcy around just to take some bullets the rest of the year and then regroup in the off season.
I think you're right. I think when we looked at it, and I've been hard on Darcy for a year and a half now. I thought the time to go was a long time ago, but once he weathered the storm and Lindy Ruff was relieved of duty, I thought it bought him some time. Having Rolston there and preaching the rebuild, which we all know that they're in, it didn't matter if they lost. It was buying. He was in the rebuild. They had that mentality. So I think it got so bad here with the fans every single game chanting, "Fire Darcy," and the way that they were losing games. And if you look at the games, they're giving up over 40 shots a night. It's not conducive to bringing people in the building, selling advertising, and making it a winning environment. Since he took over, it's been Stanley Cup.
Matthew,
all we've heard is Stanley Cup.
How did it go so south so fast? Like, it's been growing for a couple of years, but it just seems like they were, people talking about their prospects, and they were in good shape, and they had some, Ehrhoff comes in, and Miller's there, and Vanek there. What happened?
I think people overbought on what they had in the cupboards. I think they have some good prospects, yes, but when you sign guys like Ehrhoff, who's a good player, let's not discredit him. He's a good player. Is he a number one? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Hidden in Vancouver and playing third and fourth D minutes. You're playing against other teams' second and third lines. You're not playing against top lines. Billy Leno, he played 78 games, I believe, when he was signed to that monstrous contract. He's a third-line player at best, and when you put him, and I think it's why Detroit was so good for so many years, they would slot their players in the right position. First-liners are first-liners, fourth-liners are fourth-liners. They don't try to take a third-liner, pay him second-line money, and put him into that slot, and I think that's what Buffalo did under Regier. They've made a ton of moves that didn't make any sense if we go back to Briere and Drury and the $5 million. But lately, it was the players that they brought in and the lack of talent that they had on this team, especially on the back end, and not getting the development out of a Tyler Myers that they desperately needed. So I think this team was just overvalued.
Former Buffalo Sabre Matthew Barnaby is with us.
Like penny stocks in the day.
On the day that the Buffalo Sabres fired Darcy Regier and Ron Rolston, your assessment and observation on bringing Ted Nolan back.
Can you say that again, sorry?
Your assessment on bringing Ted Nolan back as head coach, interim head coach.
Well, I think when you look at who they're bringing in, they're bringing in total class. Ted Nolan is my favorite coach that I've ever played for, and he is going to get the utmost best effort from these guys every single day that they step on the ice. That's for sure. They aren't the most talented team anymore, but they are going to put their butts off every single day. Look at what they're trying to build here. It is a culture, and Ted Nolan is the best guy to bring young guys along to show them how to work in the National Hockey League. And like Patty said, it starts at the top.
I want to say this, Matthew. The challenge here is Teddy's going to come in short term, and I think they're going to improve because they're that bad that they're going to play hard because they'll compete for Teddy. Here's the challenge by bringing Teddy in now. You're going to have a worse pick, number one. That is going to affect your long term. You're going to have a worse pick. And number two, the pressure on the new GM will be to keep Teddy, and he may not want Teddy. He may not be a Teddy guy. That's the only downside of bringing in Teddy. But I don't have a problem with Teddy. I like him as a coach.
Matthew, just on the comparison to what happened in Tampa Bay and Barry Melrose.
Those are all valid points. And to Barry Melrose is a great friend and a great guy. I thought he'd fail, and I said that right away when I took over at ESPN from his job there. I just thought that being out that long, that the game had changed so much that he couldn't really get where the game was at, and it was a disaster. I do feel it's different because of the situation he's in and the people he has surrounded with him in Buffalo. Yes, they're going to compete harder. They're going to compete much harder under Ted Nolan because he will accept nothing other. Whether it's your star or your fourth-line guy, you're going to compete for him or you're not going to play. My concern is they don't get as high a pick. There's some great players out there in Reinhart and Ekblad who you'd love to get your hands on, and if you take Ekblad, you may be able to parlay that into an offensive guy that they desperately need too. So this is a catch-22. I think Ted Nolan is going to get the best out of them. We will see where it leads to. I think video is not his strong suit. It's not his strong suit whatsoever. X's and O's are not Teddy's strong suit. That's why he has great coaches in place, or at least assistants that can help him along, and I think they'll judge that and survey that. And Patty, being a good hockey guy, will watch how they're going with that and evaluate at the end of the year.
With Pat LaFontaine, Pat LaFontaine in the role of president of hockey operations, does that change the future of Ryan Miller with this organization? Because by all accounts, everybody's said that he's going to be gone.
I would still think that he is going to be gone. I think this is still a total rebuild. I think Ryan Miller is still your biggest bargaining chip with Matt Molson and even maybe a Steve Ott. I think Steve Ott could end up, this could save him not being traded long term if they can work a deal out. But Ryan Miller, I still think part of the plan is to get rid of him, stock that cupboard, bring in a GM that knows the draft very well, players that are available with their scouts, and draft. This is still a total rebuild, no question about it. I don't think Ryan Miller serves any purpose re-signing here and a team that's not going to make the playoffs for the next few years, even with the new regime.
Matthew Barnaby is with us, former Buffalo Sabre. We appreciate your time, and no coincidence that this occurred the day after the elevator broke down, and Darcy Regier taking the heat for that because Rick Jeanneret had to call the game between the benches with a helmet on.
He took a lot of abuse. I was one to give it to him, but I think the new regime is going to do well, and unfortunately for Darcy, someone's got to pay the price.
Pat's got to get that elevator fixed. We can't go through that again. Thanks, Matthew.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Matt.